If they could have seen it as we are now, from a magical temporal helicopter, probably Imperial Rome would look just like this to its emperors. We are at the beginning of the 2nd century after Christ. The emperor is the great Trajan. Rome is at the height of its architectonic splendor, the empire at the maximum of its expansion. The name of Rome dominates the known world of that time. The Mediterranean basin, Eastern and Western Europe, the African coast, and the Middle East as far as the Caspian Sea. The culture, the language, and the extraordinary technology of Rome has transformed these primitive areas into rich and educated colonies. The city has a population of almost 1.5 million and is enriched by hundreds of temples and glorious monuments. There is a network of 9 aqueducts that supply the city with over 1 million cubic meters of water per day. Water which, amongst other things, is used to supply thermic baths with a total capacity of over 1,000 people. The heart of the city is where we are going now, and corresponds with the panorama every tourist has admired from the terrace of the Campidoglio, the Roman Forum. A famous and fascinating area, which, with the passing of time, has crumbled and discolored, but at the time of the empire must have been a magnificent sight. It may seem strange that in this part of ancient Rome, where the emperors lived and all the public and state functions took place, Romans also came to play. For example, here, next to this important building, the Basilica Julia, built by Caesar. Don't be fooled by the name Basilica. In fact, the Roman basilicas have nothing in common with the Christian ones which came later. They were enormous buildings used mainly for public functions, such as economic transactions, as in our modern-day stock exchange, but most importantly, they were used for the administration of justice. Inside the Basilica Julia, important cases were tried, attracting large numbers of people, always in search of scandals. The Roman people, even though they were considered to be civilized, were extraordinarily litigious, and the rooms of this courthouse were never sufficient. The pauses between one hearing and another were often long, and so, to pass the time, large chessboards and other games were carved on the steps outside. These we can still see today. But come on, let's go inside. The basilica was absolutely enormous, more than 80 meters long, divided into 5 naves and, as was normal at that time, had no walls on 3 of the 4 sides. It was exposed directly to the outside world. Here, in fact, the tribunal of the centumvirs operated. With the help of various partitions to divide the large space, 4 cases could be dealt with at the same time. As we said before, the trials were public, and when famous people were involved, the population flocked to the hearings, with noise and confusion that we can well imagine. But maybe it's better that we move on. Today, there's an important meeting in the Senate.